Hello, John O'Toole just about covered everything there. There's hardly anything left with any O'Toole. The earliest memory I have of, and probably the most important memory I have of Austin was we came here in 1986, and after a couple of weeks of being here, we heard there was Gaelic football happening out in Lower Hutt, in Fraser Park. At the time we didn't know where Lower Hutt was, we didn't know where Upper Hutt was, we didn't know where Middle Hutt was, we didn't know where any Hutt was. But we made our way out Fraser Park, and it was about 2 o'clock I think, and we arrived in the car park, and I saw a group of, there was about 6 or 7 out in the middle of the Fraser Park. There was a man with white hair in the middle of it. He hadn't got a tracksuit on, he just had a pair of grey trousers, a green jumper, a white shirt, and I thought, well, it looks as though there's a Gaelic football out there, so I'll walk out and see what the story is. So I went out, and he was in the middle of a sort of a circle of mostly sort of Kiwi fellas, I think. He was teaching them the basics of Gaelic football. And he had a Gaelic football in his hand, and he was saying, "This is the way you pass the ball." And he'd punch it, he'd pass it back to me. Punch it to the next one, pass it back to me. Lundus, namby, pamby, hand pass. You close your fist, and that's the way you pass it. Now in Ireland, at the time, hand passing was a big thing. Especially Dublin. They'd sort of taken over Gaelic football with this hand passing there. But the older generation just didn't like it. They just didn't like it. They thought it was a bit girly, and Austin was part of the old breed. So anyway, when I got there, he was saying, "How's it going?" He introduced himself, and I introduced myself. And he was saying, "You're from Dublin?" And I was saying, "I am." And he says, "So you know how to play Gaelic football?" And I says, "Yeah." And he says, "That's grand, that's grand." He says, "Listen lads, if you hold on to that ball, have a bit of a practice, and bring it along next week." And he says to me, "Why don't we go for a punt?" So off we went, and we came back here to the Lower Hutt Irish Club, which wasn't this place. It was a sort of a house sitting out there.
That's right. Yeah.
And those were the days
Yeah.
when men played football, talked shite, and drink pints, and women made sandwiches.
Bring back those days.
Isn't that right, Anne?
Yeah.
They were good old days, weren't they?
Yeah.
We enjoyed them anyway, we enjoyed them.
Where we're supposed to be. In the kitchen.
So we went in, and we had a few points, and we became friends. And I was very lucky. He became a lifelong friend, a very important friend, a member of my very important member of my extended family, along with Anne. And you will always continue to be Anne.
Thank you.
And you'll always have our love and support.
And you'll always be my electrician.
Yeah, is that a promise? Because you're my only customer. Okay.
I have to tell you something. Sean was just telling us that he'd run his dad a couple of times when he was wiring some of the place, his place. I said, "Jeepers, Sean, I hope he told you the right colours, because Brian said to me, don't let him near anything." Because he had got to the stage where the colours weren't too well sorted.
I reached that stage years ago. Okay, take care. Take care. And Austin was sorry, if I can tell one more little story, if that's all right. I remember about 3 or 4 years ago, we went into the Irish Club. Tommy Gormley was there, and there was probably 3 or 4 Dublin lads. We were playing Kerry in the semi-final of the All-Ireland, and we went in at 2 o'clock in the morning to the Irish Club on a freezing cold, bleeding night.
Yeah.
And do you remember this, Anne?
Yeah.
And you and Austin were there.
Yes.
And Austin had his Dublin colours on.
Yes.
And we had a bit of a flag, and Tony, you and the kids were there and all that as well. And we sat, and 10 minutes from the end, we knew it wasn't going to be a good night. And I was absolutely distraught, because I'm not bad. I'm not a good loser. And I was all over the place. And I went over to Austin and I was saying, "Not a great night. It's not a great night." And he says, "My father's from Kerry." He took his Dublin top off, and there was a Kerry jersey. I thought it summed up Austin, because as far as Austin was concerned, I always had the idea there was no point in going to the Australasian Games unless we can be competitive. And he had the idea, well, at least we can go and have a bit of crack. And that's what it was all about. It was the taking part and to get together for a bit of crack and to socialise and to share each other's company. And he was always very generous with himself and with his time, and it's a great tribute to the man. He was a good man, and he'd be very sorry in this. Okay, thank you.